dangerously close to not paying their mortgage. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because I thought we would visit Oz Finance on Reddit and look at a post about someone dangerously close to not being able to pay their mortgage. Now, before this video, I did one about the financial gigachads that are the viewers of my channel, with nearly half of you being debt-free. And those have been a significant portion with a loan or with a mortgage not being worried. Now, here's the thing. In the media, we are going to get fed a stream of negative news about, well, interest rates going up, people struggling, people bitching and moaning about inflation and costs of everything going up. Well, we've got to appreciate that is going to happen just to get engagement, okay? So you've got to realize that may not be the full picture. So let's have a look at this because, well, I wanted to do a positive video before I looked at this one because it's going to make me feel sad. So, wait. Nope. There we go. Wait a minute. There we go. Boom, boom. Okay. Dangerously close to not being able to pay my mortgage. And let me have a shot of coffee before we go through this one. Hello, Brokey here. Brokey, is that a term? I learned about FIRE, the financially independent retire early anyway. So everyone knows that interest rates are through the roof. And my weekly payments on my mortgage have increased to the point we cannot cover it every week. It's not eating the offset account. And by next month, it will be gone. Oh, wait, so it's eating the offset account. So, you know what, I'm going to bring up, I'll bring up interest rates are rising. We'll look at that Excel, because, I mean, these are all going up. So we can see, you can see here, guys, what's the scenario we're running at here? I mean, 6.09% on a $480,000 mortgage, which is first home buyer. Your payments are $2,900 a month. So if they got in at 1.9 and have jumped up, that's pretty bad. That's a huge increase. Let's say they were in at 4%, you know, back in the day, a variable. Thinking, oh yeah, it won't change. That's still another $600 a month that you got to find. For some people, that's going to be easier than others. That's the problem. So I've got to ask, what happens if I cannot pay the full amount? I'm prepared to put my tax money plus withdraw super and cop the tax to help that but that money doesn't come in overnight. So it's interesting here. It's showing you what people are willing to do to keep their house. When we've got all these predictions of massive property falls, they're going to fight to keep in their home. People are going to fight to keep their home. They're going to do whatever they can. They're going to withdraw their super. This is why one of the arguments I have against super is that, I mean, they could have been in the property a decade earlier, maybe. They're a 29-year-old couple with 2 kids and a small house in Sydney with a $580,000 loan. Okay, so let's bring that into here. $580,000. So they're a bit above the average, but they're not talking a lot, guys. 580 grand is not a big loan. Repayments 2 years ago when we bought were 600-ish and are now approaching 1,000. Our loan percent is just over, what, 80%? Okay, the current rate is 6.04. Okay, so they're pretty close to this. So their repayments roughly are 3,400 or 3,500 a monthly repayment. That's on 30 years, so that's probably going to be less than that. So our offered rate sucks. Okay, their loan to value ratio is just over, I'm assuming, 80%. Besides the obvious downsizing, we've tried asking for a rate decrease, which knocked 25 points off. Good. But it's since increased and appears to be about to increase again. Happy to take any and all advice. The current rate is 6.04%. I mean, this shows you the desperation that some people will have. So let's have a look. Let's see some of the responses here. Once you cut back, write down the essentials. The only real solution is to raise your income. Yeah, that's, well, sell stuff. You've got to sell stuff and you've got to just spend no money. Like spend nothing. It's tough. It's tough. You might have to go interest only for a period, which I admit won't save much, and reassess your income as a couple. I mean, this is showing you what people will do to keep in their houses. It's a class thing here in Australia. You're either a property owner or you're one of those rentians, the plebeian renters that we don't, that everyone wants to be a landlord over in this country. We really got some messed up things in Australia, don't we? It really is. Maybe have family or friends watch the children somehow, if possible, an extra day or two a week, and someone go out and work on those days. Might sound obvious, but cut everything. Netflix, YouTube Premium, whatever. Go through your rolling balance with your partner and cut absolutely everything that doesn't need to be there, even if it costs $1 a month. Yeah, I mean, get rid of your cards and then cancel all the services. Another thing to do is speak to your bank. They have a vested interest in seeing you keep your house and pay down your loan, and will help where they can for a hardship claim. Withdraw super only as an absolute last result. Tax refund, yes, but super is important to hold if you can. Well, I mean, wouldn't tax refund always be something you chuck on your debt to get debt-free? You need to find the ability to raise your income as a couple whilst keeping your children looked after. You can ask for more money at work. Does your partner work? I get that looking after the kids is plenty of work, but even a day or two a week can bring in an extra 5 to 10K a year. I mean, that is a good point. That is a good point. Just a little bit extra can make the difference to keep them in their home, if not. Together we've quit smoking. Oh, there you go. I mean, that smoking is insanely expensive. We've done videos on the channel where I'm in my boomer mode thinking a carton still costs $50 because I don't smoke. The last time I worked at a bloody cigarette counter was at Woolies when I was in high school. And I remember my parents they'd smoke in the 80s. They'd have like cartons of cigarettes up there, like full cartons. And it's so expensive. It is so expensive. If you smoke, forget about the health, forget about all that stuff. You're just the government's little tax bitch. Okay? Just think about that. You're just the little tax bitch handing over half of that money to them. If that doesn't want to make you quit, I don't know what is. Just think about all the wonderful programs and rubbish that you're supporting with it. It's so expensive. And they won't drop that tax. They will not drop the taxes on the, because it's bad for you. We've got to manipulate you. Oh, okay, they quit smoking, they quit drinking. Yeah, you don't need to drink anymore. I mean, that's getting expensive too. I went and bought a 6-pack and I nearly fell over. No, what was it? Where did I go out? I went out somewhere and I had a beer. One beer was like $15 or something. Ugh. I miss dollar drinks, guys. Thumbs up if you remember dollar drinks, dollar Thursdays. Young people won't know what that is. They've gotten rid of the gym, almost everything you could think of. The missus currently works Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which are the days me or my family can watch the kids. So they're doing everything. They're really doing it all. Excellent work, quitting smoking. I found it really easy to quit back in the day when it was a choice between a deck or eating for a couple of days. What are we looking at? Your wife is only working 3 days. You might need to increase this. Can you both get into a position where you can both work full time, maybe with overtime? I mean, this is the sad state of Australia now. This is the thing where having a wife at home taking care of the family, it's not affordable for a lot of people. You both got to work full time to do it. And it kind of sucks because you want to be around your kids. The younger years particularly are very short and they disappear so quick. It's sad. It is sad that we've gotten to this point. Unfortunately, your only option is to increase your income. That is through either increasing working hours or promotion or a second job. The cost of daycare will likely cost the entire second salary. And that's if you manage to get a place. The wait list around us are more than a year long. It's you're still a little in front financially. It often doesn't feel worth it to have kids in daycare when you're paying so much. But when the budget is this tight, it's worth it. Plus, you get super on top of your income, more opportunities to increase earnings once you're back in work again. It depends. My son agreed and got so much. Money aside, people often underestimate how important early education is for children. My partner works in childcare, and it's crazy the effort that goes into the kids' daily lessons. Oh, okay, the whole early childhood education, it's not been proven. It's all bunk, guys. Okay, they play it all up. It's just so they can start indoctrinating them into this. I remember we went into a childcare to have a look, and it's just anyway. I mean, I want kids to be able to play. My big bugbear right now is the amount of homework they get in primary school, and they can't even play. You're meant to come home and play with your friends and do stuff. I mean, isn't that what we did? Build cubby houses, play soldiers, play with your Lego, play your Nintendo, have fun. We pay $130 per kid per day for childcare. That's insane. We currently get 50% back, but we'll increase to 67% next month for the first child and 80% for the second. But seems like we earn a lot more than OP, so he will get more. The wife should be able to earn more than $70 a day. Maybe I should put my 6 kids in childcare and get Rachel working. Nah. Wow, that's so much. How much money are we spending on childcare in this country? I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So, I mean, there you go. I'm saving the government a lot with my 6, 7 kids. Wow. This shows you how a lot of people may be a net, they won't be paying tax. But I mean, the sad reality is they have to. They have to put their kids in childcare. They have to work just to be able to afford the mortgage. This comes back to my argument that having these high house prices, it creates a very compliant and well-behaved population. They've got too much to lose. It's almost as if it's done that way on purpose. The subsidies are pretty, okay, they're going on and on about childcare. Yeah, I don't care about that. You've got to find that's not going to, I mean, all they're saying is get the wife to work more. Give up time with your kids that you love and you want to have and work more. It's some job. If you're desperate, and this is horrendous advice, but go FIFO so your partner won't have to work. Oh, boy, yeah, that's... Yeah, yep. But it's tough. It's tough working remote, particularly if you've got kids. I don't know if I could do it. I guess I'd have to. You'd have to. As a bloke, you got to do what you got to do. Keep the family going, don't you? Yep, we're miners in a mining town, and I always tell city people about the money opportunities up in far north Queensland. The majority of people that work here fly out from Brisbane or Sydney. Everyone is making money and not struggling. And this is the way they are. And no, mining is not for everyone. It's not like, wow, this job is great. But honestly, it's not terrible. If you can hack it a year or 2, then you can get ahead for 5 at least. I mean, maybe that's something you got to do. So this FIFO is changing careers, changing jobs. I don't know if I can go out as an architect, probably be a truck driver or something out there. No, I couldn't even do that. Probably cleaner. I mean, lots of jobs you don't need many skills to do out on the mines that need to get done. Although we have design mines, all from here in my office. That's funny doing like a safety startup meeting in an inner city Brisbane office because you're working for a mining company. Oh. So, actually good advice that anyone needs to increase their income. It comes with a cost, not seeing your family for long periods of time though. Yeah, and I mean, we did a project where they were upgrading all of the accommodation to try and address the issue of people exiting early, shall we say, on these sites. But I doubt it's as tough as it would be losing your family's home because you can't make the payments. Yeah, I mean that's an option. That's an option. Going to give you some advice I gave a year ago against the wishes of the New Z sub. It's too late there now, and they're down 25% in Wellington. It will likely be too late here soon. You can't afford this, and Sydney Bounce will give you exit liquidity. I'm telling people to sell. I think the move to Australia part does not work out so well for OP. He should never have taken that advice. In short term, getting a side gig. Oh yeah, you can do that too. Until there's new laws coming, Labor's pushing for same job same pay. That's going to destroy the gig economy. I haven't looked at that closely yet, but doing Ubering for a bit of extra cash, you're not going to walk away with a huge profit. You're probably going to drive your vehicle to death, but you're turning a vehicle that's going to depreciate anyway into income to keep your house. And maybe that's just what you need to do to get through the tough times. An extra $100 to $200 a week could be the difference. It sucks, but you got to do what you got to do. Ubering and COVID, when COVID hit, meant I could not pay myself, which allowed me to not fire staff in the short term while we figured out what was happening. In the long term, you need to find a way to make more money or sell up. These rates are historically pretty normal, and if you're struggling right now, you've borrowed too much. But they haven't borrowed too much, have they? 580 grand? Can your wife work some night shifts? I did some shelf stacking nights to bring in extra cash. That's not a bad idea. Shelf stacking at Woolies or Coles, I did it years ago. What you'd find is the managers would, they get the management job, they'd have all the stress, and they go, stuff this, they become shelf stackers. That's a really good idea. Can you request the bank change your loan to the current from the current lengths to 30 years? Yeah, refinance. Tax refund, yes. So we're getting a whole lot of advice here, and we'll do a few more before we do more. Before we leap to blame anyone who has tried to buy a home in the past 5 years for the mess they're now in, let's not forget all of us live within a barely regulated economic system that allows deep credit availability and therefore property prices to skyrocket. And you can't remember the constraints on supply. There's a lot of constraints on supply, and they overheated the housing market, and now we've got a construction apocalypse where builders are going under left, right, and center. We can't forget that, guys. It's never going to get easier here in Australia. I don't think it will. The managers of that system are as much to blame for this mess as those who wanted to buy a home and chose to take out loans. Do we seriously think the population at large should have rejected the credit freely on offer to buyers, or stood firm and say, no, I won't buy that house? There is naturally an element of buyer beware, but the behavior of having a lender triple the demand for monthly repayments only months after the deal was signed, until recently only seen from payday loan sharks and criminal gangs. Here in Australia, it has become mainstream banking policy. Okay, I think they're going a bit down the drama path. I mean, it is Reddit here. Yeah. Historical averages of interest rates. That's what, well, if you have a look at the cash rate. We're going back to between 2010 and let's say the early 90s. Big chunk of time where we were at this level, around a bit over 4%. So it's probably going to stay this way for some time, guys. I remember blah, 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 blah. I remember my parents building a family home for 32 grand. Oh yeah, but that's a million, 100 years ago. I remember my father, who was a builder and building designer, going to meet on clients, and they were shocked at how much it costs to do an extension. When they're saying, oh, we built the house for only a few $1,000s. He goes, yeah, that was 30 years ago. So anyway, what else? This is good advice, but definitely speak to your banker. OP can also look into fixed rates. Possibly a 3-year fixed rate may be lower than the current variable, but they may not be able to because of the APRA rules. Here's the thing, the LVR isn't fantastic, and the APRA rules will put a higher buffer on it. They need to be able to pay at 10% or 9%, so they're screwing the people in. They're trapped in a mortgage, but it could be considered. Well, guys, let's finish this one up here. I'll link to it if you want to check it out, but I mean, you could be able to find it. Some good advice, some bad advice. Yeah, let's have a talk. Sadly, all of this seems to simply boil down to get the missus working more. You need both people working now in Australia just to get a normal house. And then they tax you at the wazoo to fund all the childcare places to keep everyone working. You think about how much you actually pocket in the end. Beautiful system we have here, isn't it? Kind of getting tired of it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Check out Heise a bit more Heise does for other content I create. If you're a fan and enjoy the channel, you can support us on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy a Pocket Squares, or call us if you need an architect. And remember, Supporting any content creator is a luxury. Don't do it if you're suffering from any financial stress, no matter how much teary bullshit they give you. Okay. Oh, there's one YouTuber I've watched years ago, and he's completely gone off the rails, and he's crying all the time and begging for money and making up stories about getting robbed. And just don't fall for that shit, guys. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye for now.